Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between Gorillaz-Pride and Mad Kings, where Mad Kings is 1-0 ahead. My name is Dktruman, and once again, I am joined by the lovely Bowie. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, it's always a pleasure. And today we have a G-Pride versus Mad Kings match. A match that I was pretty clear about that. I thought it was going to be very easy 2-0 for G-Pride. Maybe they also thought that and kind of underestimated Mad Kings a little bit. I think the mid lane was a clear sign of Mad Kings just outplaying G-Pride. But they even doubled down that Midas even after the whole shebang. So I think that was pretty greedy of G-Pride. And I assume they're going to change things up. They steal the Tiny and they ban the Hoodwink. But they are the ones that were playing it, so that's kind of interesting.
Oh, I love Earth Spirit, one of my favorite heroes to watch because it's always a playmaking shenanigan kind of hero. DP Earth Spirit for Mad Kings, that's probably looking to be your offlane duo with Arsent most likely going for the DP again. You could always, you know, try and still play the 5 position DP, for instance. In South America last season, at the very least, loved playing that one regardless. But a tiny CK for Gorillaz-Pride. Are you expecting this to be a tiny core?
I hope. I mean, I hope with Tiny's core that he is mid and not like a CK offline with Tiny carry.
10 seconds.
But this is the second time where we see Mad Kings just defaulting for this RZT Death Prophet, and it really is one of his like most comfortable heroes. Sure, it could be mid as you pointed out, but judging from the way Jackie was playing, I think he probably likes those lower cooldown mids a little bit more. So anything that can always fight, he was really aggressive. The whole team was in the way that they, you know, attacked the top lane and everything. So I really assumed this Death Prophet either to be a 3 or a 5 DP. You know, it's been a while, probably not going to be the case. So I do like this Earth Spirit. You know, DP is a hero that can actually sustain pretty well in lane, so Earth Spirit can help if there's need, but can also rotate. Pretty similar to what the Tiny gave them in game 1, but now in the form of more unorthodox hero, right? Earth Spirit definitely super niche sort of hero.
It's Dire's ban now.
Yeah,
Radiant's
it's
to ban.
a beaut. Has a lot of playmaking potential and of course vision gain, which is very important to have on your team. That's why even though it's not really a meta hero, a lot of some teams still go for the Beastmaster just for the vision, or Night Stalker because vision equals win. Considering the Harpy got that nerf where it's not stupidly broken, now you just get the Wraith back and you don't care if you don't see the enemies because they can't even hurt you.
Yeah, I think that was a much needed nerf. We definitely kind of stopped seeing the Harpy at all. I don't think we even saw it during the whole major. At least not in the actual in the stage games. But yeah, going back to this draft, I'm kind of surprised that this Batrider gets removed. I didn't see a lot of Jackie, so maybe he plays it a little bit. But this Batrider probably indicates that the hero G-Pride is going to pick for mid doesn't really like that matchup too much.
Yeah, could be if they're still considering the tiny mid. Doesn't really like Batriders in that sense. Though the Wraith King ban, I mean, Mad Kings did have a very solid showing on the Wraith King, so that's also not too surprising. Even though Wraith King is not necessarily like a superb hero currently, it's always like a nice addition hero, but it doesn't feel like it's the absolute end all. But there we have a Wyvern. Okay, we don't get to see a lot of that hero anymore.
A lot of unorthodox choices here for Mad Kings. I actually love it. You know, these guys, they seem very, like you said, you know, Wraith King, not that popular of a hero. They were picking it. Now they go Earth Spirit Wyvern. And they're just playing what they like, apparently. And so far it's working really well. I actually dislike the Wraith King ban because, you know, I think they're just going for the same let's kill hero sort of draft, and Wraith King is definitely kind of a counter to that style. So it feels like G-Pride, they're not willing to really change anything. I'm sure they change a couple of the heroes, but I would love to see them also changing their style a little bit more. Maybe grab a greedier carry. But I have a feeling the CK is going to be their carry. I don't think this is going to be an offlane hero.
Dire pick.
Oh, would be interesting.
Okay.
Lash. Okay, they steal
I
the
like that.
Lash. Works well with the Shadow Demon. You also have the Shadow Demon most likely for the save against the Wyvern Curse, which is the most important aspect of the Shadow Demon in this game. And Demonic Purge, of course, one of the biggest counters in the game to the
10
Death Prophet,
seconds.
and nearly makes it impossible for her to work. these two picks, Gorillaz-Pride just
seconds
added
left.
in, like, just completely turned the draft around.
I agree. Leshrac also really good versus Wyvern, right? Because the Code Embrace does much less or pretty much nothing against that bad boy. They still have like a fair amount of stuns in their draft, but now a little bit of push. If that is a hero they feel comfortable playing, then I'm happy. I just hope, you know, the performance on the Leshrac is going to be a little bit better than what we saw from G-Pride's mid position in game 1. That was definitely not impressive. Now, will Bad Kings pick the Invoker? Will they go for the absolute bad manner?
That would be kind of
be the
funny. And
other
then
way
just
around.
stick to the Quas Exort as well. Just no fear.
Oh, yeah, that's how you should have played.
But yeah, yeah, the Shadow Demon Lash is so neat. You also give your team a decent amount of pushing power, roche capabilities with that addition as well. Plus, it kind of like Shadow Demon is good to countering a lot of different possible heroes that you need to deal with. And also, I
CK
really
also
like the
looked-
Shard, especially against, like, you know, the Death Prophet Silence, Earth Spirit Silence, the Wyvern Slows and whatnot. You just throw your Shard effect on, let's say, your Lash, and he does not get silenced ever, and he just rushes right through.
True, very true. I also feel like Shadow Demon CK is an underrated combination. Usually you think of, you know, the PLs and
It's
TVs,
Radiant's ban
Lunas,
now.
but CK is probably the hero that uses as these illusions as like the best, right? Because your illusions actually go with your W. I'm not sure how it does, right? Because even when CK uses Eggs, the Eggs illusions do follow
10
the Rift.
seconds.
So I'm assuming the SD illusions are gonna work out
5 seconds
with
left.
the Reality Rift as well. So if I'm not dumb, it should work that way, and it's really good. Say anything, so I'm assuming it works that way. And they go for Quap. Another, like, what is going on in these picks, dude? They're like playing 8.47 on Mad Kings.
It's it is fun. You get to see new heroes. I mean, you don't get to see, you know, Mars versus DK every single freaking game.
Yeah.
Dire's ban now.
God, I hate DK.
And
It's such a dumb hero. Juggernaut ban. Okay, they're still expecting a safe lane on Mad Kings, which kind of we are as well. Gorillaz-Pride, they have... I mean, it's probably a tiny 4, right? CK safe lane,
10
Shadow Demon
seconds.
5, Lash mid.
Radiant's
I mean,
turn
the
to ban.
thing with Gorillaz-Pride lineup is they still have a reasonable amount of flexibility. CK could go offlane. You could even put the tiny offlane for that matter. Lash could technically
Yeah.
be a safe lane as well. It wouldn't be the first time that we saw that.
Actually, that's true, but they don't have overall last pick. So
10
even though they're
seconds.
trying to like help Chikala a little bit here, he had a really bad game
5
1.
seconds left.
They're still gonna pick his hero without knowing the carry for Mad Kings, because sure, there's a lot of flex on G-Pride, but we know for sure that Mad Kings didn't pick their carry yet. So that's
What you on
that's the
about?
big-
Easy Wyvern safe lane.
Oh, they actually banned 2 of the annoying "I will kill you in the safe lane" heroes. I wonder what they're actually gonna pick here. Are they just gonna pick Sand King, but as a last pick instead of earlier on as they did in game 1?
10 seconds.
Sand King is always nice.
5 seconds left.
Just had a little bit of a rough start. He did have some nice plays, but Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everyone on Gorillaz-Pride was playing full derp. Viper!
Oh man,
Ew.
yeah, they're really trying to make his game a little bit easier this time.
Ew. Viper. Ew. I mean, Viper is so good at winning the lane, especially against a Wyvern. Wyvern can't do anything against a Viper.
10 seconds.
Though the downside always is Viper is so horrible later on.
Choose your hero.
What?
Love this dude. Dude, Mad Kings, I love these guys. They are not bound by meta, by these concepts that were created. They are just playing the game on their own terms. This is awesome, all right? I'm actually rooting Mad Kings all the way to Division 1. And that's kind of, I know the Brazilians are judging me right now because we have 2 Brazilian teams in Div2, and that would be the ideal scenario if I wanted to be, biased. But these guys, I just love the way they're playing, and I kind of have a feeling they're gonna win this game.
I love
You'd
their
think you would.
picks, and I think it's nice and interesting. But I'm gonna go Gorillaz
Nice.
Pride because I like their draft. I think their draft is more stable. They've got like tons of damage. Weaver dies from just standing near the Lesh. Wyvern dies from standing near the Lesh. I think the Earth Spirit and Death Prophet are going to be the most impactful if they can get any good impact going. But I think Mad Kings definitely have like a very solid, stable draft where they have pretty much every box checked.
I think like the Weaver is really good for the lane, but as you pointed out, there's definitely like some issues. I think the build this Weaver chooses is gonna be very important. I don't think he can go super greedy with his item choices. He probably needs an early BKB so he doesn't like just die all the time to the disruption, split earth, whatever else comes after. But I think considering Chikala's performance in game 1, if they just stomp this lane, which I think you can with Weaver, one of the few heroes that really doesn't care that much about Viper in the lane, then this game looks easy. Because they kind of crumbled with some of those Chikala decisions in the mid game. And that's because his early game was pretty bad. And now they're really going all the way for him to have a good early game. We'll see what happens.
I'm definitely gonna look forward towards this showdown. Both teams trying to spot the other out, but completely opposite ends of the map. Now, G, can they scurry through without the tower seeing anything of them? It seems so. They're on the enemy's high ground. This could be sneaky, but this is a very strange affair.
30 seconds to battle. Feel free to start killing.
Yeah,
before
they
that.
did a similar dance in game 1 as well. We'll see who ends up victorious here. The ward not scouted, the one Mad Kings placed in the mid lane.
Yeah, they are, I mean, they're an interesting bunch. Though this time it looks like more should be picked up here for the side of Mad Kings. Up the high ground they go. Stun comes out onto Pablo. It already uses Boulder Smash. The toss comes through. Disruption saved to keep his teammate alive. Now G, can he get the kill? No, it's going to be first blood secured for the Mad Kings. Pablo going for the right click fight. You know we will get a kill in return, but a 2-for-1 trade with, of course, the CK being dead. That is definitely not what you want on the side of G Pride. The bounty runes, how much did it turn out to be? A 2-for-2 trade to boot.
Yeah, not only the CK dying, but I guess like the biggest problem is the fact that once again they get the first blood on Mad Kings, with now being the one that feeds. So pretty unfortunate. Don't want to be feeding away first blood as a carry. Such a fragile role to carry. You really you're not you cannot afford a lot of deaths basically.
Yeah, definitely need to make sure that you get the ball rolling this game. CK, not a hero that loves playing from behind at all. That's why his toolkit is ridiculously strong in the laning stage.
Definitely. terms of this bottom lane here, we do see the large camp being blocked by G-Pride, so very nicely done there, recognizing, like, basically, they have a kill lane on G-Pride, and if the creep equilibrium is favorable, they'll get a lot of kills. But now it's Yadomi that is eating a lot of the damage. On the top side of,
Yeah, they are getting
the
bullied
map,
heavily. 2 healing salves already used on G-Pride side.
in the safe lane?
And
Or in the off lane?
in the off lane. They just got Shikuchi, some bugs on them with a nice little Arctic burn, and they just lost all their HP. I mean, Tiny
that's
again is
definitely a
such a
buff.
terrible laner.
Yeah, like that is a buff that I think we didn't really see used at all in the major, right? But the fact
Yeah.
that now it lasts for 10 seconds, the Arctic burn.
Yeah, honestly, that makes the hero
honestly-
so much stronger. Wyvern is one of my favorite heroes in the game. I still play it a decent amount, and it actually feels like you're useful in the laning stage, which is saying a lot, because the hero normally sucks in the laning stage.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. You don't really reapply Arctic burn, so it's not as OP as some would think, but it's still like really. Oh, Adrian might be dead here.
Shikuchi, yeah, no, he's slowed down, and that is going to be a kill onto the Weaver. The big downside of low-level Shikuchi means, well, if it's on cooldown, you're dead.
Yeah, he got tossed mid Tsukuchi, so he lost a lot of the duration during the toss. So that was pretty good from ZXCA. Once again, like I feel like even though they lost, he was probably the MVP from G-Pride. I felt like he did a lot. He bought a lot of time for the force.
Pablo will be able to catch Yadomi in that bottom lane now. Just trying to heal up in the meantime, and his Shadow Demon will give him some heals soon enough. While currently, last hitting wise, it's looking pretty okay for the G-Pride cores. Now, at least not being completely dumpstered in the mid lane anymore.
Yeah, much even this time around, which is expected. I think this is definitely a matchup that the Quap can get kills afterwards, but not right now. Chikala going for Mario here, but the bugs, they hurt.
Yeah, and also, he was completely stuck. Like, he couldn't really get any movement going. No Splinter Blast used, surprisingly enough. But Xel will still die. Adrian gets himself that kill secured, and that's not bad of a trade. Adrian getting a nice chunk of change for that engagement, 2 for 1. Decent amount of experience added to boot. And he's gonna go for the Falcon Blade, which it's still an okay-ish item. I mean, he does need HP, so in that sense, it's a very must-need item early on.
Yeah, I really like this build. I think he's gonna go either like Dragonlance BKB or Senjin Yasha maybe. We'll see what he decides. But anything that makes him tanky. Oh, now they do get Rs and T, but that's gonna be a trade. Probably okay for G-Pride, but CK is losing a lot of farm right now. So, you know, a lot of times, even if you're not the first one to die as the carry, if you're losing waves of creeps, it's probably not worth it to die this early on.
Yeah, it's definitely not superb. His second death of the game. Mid matchup, Jackie doing a pretty decent amount, though. Takes a lot of damage, does have a Sonic Wave available, but he kind of needs a rotation to try and make a kill happen. And speaking of rotation, Earth Spirit's a very stable rotator. They do not have vision that he is in the area, but you definitely have to be very careful in a game with an Earth Spirit. But Saxa, he's going to go for Yaki. And if they could get the Avalanche toss in, that's definitely going to be a kill with the Split Earth on top.
He's actually waiting. I guess they want Lash to be 6 to go for this play.
Yeah, there's also infused raindrops now on the clock. 15 magic wand charge, a fairy fire available.
Boy.
Yaki, Split Earth, can he get anything off? No, he cannot, and the burst is there. Kill secured. Yadomi, disruption onto Pablo.
Yeah, really nice played. They were patient. That's really good.
And they managed to make it a little bit easier for Tao. Now, in the meantime, has to pull his own small camp. That's what you are supposed to have supports for.
Yeah, that's what the plebs are supposed to do. The carry cannot afford to do this inhumane things like pulling for himself, stacking. God forbid. Oh, top lane. Kala fighting a level 6 Weaver, so that's kind of a hard kill. The bugs. Oh no, he doesn't get it off.
Is it a hard kill? Is it? Because Zexa is a freaking god. Hoodwink last game, this time Tiny. Dude is so freaking important for that team.
Dire's
Yeah,
middle
he really
tower
is.
is under attack.
I feel like he is lifting a lot of weights. Both games. Nice that he is accomplishing this much. I think this is pretty much how I expected G-Pride to look in game 1. So we're definitely looking a bit better with this draft. And now we see this rotation here. 2-man rotation with Yadomi. Wait, he actually kind of gave up. Interesting.
Larsen does have the EXO. There's a TP in from RM. I don't really... They're considering going for the CK, but he's a bit too far.
Yeah, Tao's definitely like, alright, you guys want me or not? Because he's going back again. What is happening, man? I think he's been doing this for like 40 seconds. Alright, he finally decides to go back mid.
Well, EXO gets used. Luckily enough, it doesn't push as hard anymore, but Yadomi's going to get jump silence up as well, and they will try to get that kill quickly. Disruption will only keep you alive for 3 seconds longer, and give, of course, those illusions for extra easy money. $10 per illusion. Sonic Wave, roll in from Pablo. Nice catch, quick rotation. And Tao gets caught. Zexa is going to be next. The tossback would not be able to keep him alive most definitely. But Chikala might make it a little bit scary. Pablo, however, is the one that gets caught. Yaki going really deep here for the kill. But a bit way too deep. Don't do that against a Tiny.
True, but that's still a tower that RZT farmed, and that's a deadless track. He tried to gamble going for a rune against Quap. That's probably a mistake that you only do because Quap is out of the meta. Because you know, if you play against Quap a lot, usually you realize it's not a good idea, especially when she gets haste and you're low HP. So kind of an even trade, but not really, because tower did fall down, and the safe lane tower from Mad Kings stands very healthy. Not a lot of points on Edict on this last track, so I think they'll probably try to get it at the 10-minute catapult. Not a lot of space for now to farm right now. Even though he actually has the highest CS, his net worth is pretty low because of the deaths.
And Tao is bottom of the cores currently. Also, his experience is pretty much the same as the Weavers, which ain't good. I mean, old school Weaver at least had a 40% experience gain talent, but this one doesn't.
Those are the days.
that was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that was, you know, I think pretty much paired with the respawn time talents, it was pretty dumb. I think it was like Lone Druid that had like a 90-second. It was kind of, or 60-second. I don't remember. Pablo probably dead though.
Yeah, toss back. Arzent, another one taken down. Good move again. Zexa is there, just in the nick of time to peel off all those extra Mad Kings players. RM does not have his level 6 yet, so can't curse. Walking in, that's a little bit scary. Ava, they will be able to split Earth on top, and they find themselves Yaki. Tier 1 tower towards mid also being secured, and G-Pride take back the net with advantage. And just like that, it turns around very quickly, and I swear this Tiny is doing everything.
Yeah, he really is. Like, he ganked mid, and they were able to kill the Weaver because of him. Now they actually not only kill a bunch of heroes mid, but they get the tower. This is gonna be not even the fastest blink because he stopped for the soul ring, but even without the blink, he feels so impactful, right? Kind of crazy.
He's just there every single time his team needs to set up some kind of stun combo. And the tossbacks are just pretty neat to boot. Now top net with Adrian Well, he's right behind him, is going for the Maelstrom, so he's just going to go for a bit of a farm. They don't have any stacks to be taken with that combo.
About to be Radiant's top rubble.
Some pretty big, tiny energy coming from the XCA. Top lane, though, they find...
Big,
a
tiny
good
energy.
angle.
Nice contradiction right there. Arsen, Demonic Purge, and this is the big downside why DP is so terrible against the Shadow Demon, because you're all about that movement speed. Sonic Wave comes out, but Jackie, your teammates aren't there. They do have a curse available, but it's just they're not giving them a good opportunity to blow them up. And RM, well, maybe Chikala could be a target here. Now summons his illusions.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way Mad Kings is playing. Like they're playing way more reactive than they were in game 1, and feels like they're a little bit desperate with the way they're playing. Like they had all of their cores highest net worth at 10 minutes, but after that death mid and this death of the Death Prophet, they're just going for this kinda chaotic moves. We'll see if they can bounce back, but right now Gorillaz looking much better. And yeah, this Death Prophet, I think RZT went for a hood in game 1. He doesn't feel as tanky with this urn into Ogre X that he decided to go this time.
Yeah, game 1 he had a lot more. I think he had a Yule's plus
Hood, right?
yeah, hood, so he just didn't die in game 1 whatsoever. Now, does do a lot of damage, blows up RM, and yeah, the Wyvern, of course, because he's playing against a Lash and a Viper and a Shadow Demon, and even a Tiny, he hasn't even leveled a single point in Cold Embrace yet, because, well, the only one that is good against is CK.
Looks like they're gonna try to defend this tower here. I don't think that's the greatest idea, but you gotta deny at least. But they actually try to go for it. Okay.
The Domi dies pretty quickly, chasing for more. The Avalanche gets thrown out, but the silence is there as well now. Can he get back? Does have the armlet. Can he toggle himself to victory? Toss back from Zexa. The roll gets interrupted by the Split Earth, but there's the Winter's Curse holding him down, and a great move coming out from RM. They're looking for more. Jackie going deep, though. Might be a little bit too deep. The Avalanche toss in return. Adrian gets the time lapse off in time. Pablo will die, but Tao will be found out in return. Chikala in the trees, bringing out the heavy heat. Jackie will not be able to disengage. Almost got himself the Sonic Wave off there. But will be taken down regardless. Exorcism coming out from Arsent. A little bit late to the party. Needs to be careful of Demonic Purge. But they also kind of need to be careful of the remainder of Mad Kings. Actually, the Wyvern is being left alone by his Weaver, but he does have the Arctic Burn to fly to safety.
Alright. You wanna know why Mad Kings got such a good fight?
Yeah,
Our
sure.
Viper, Chikala, was showing bottom with no TP. And it took him like 15 seconds until the TP showed. So, you know, happens in my 6K pubs. I'm pretty sure it also happens in this high immortal games. So, very unfortunate for Dktruman, but they still, you know, that use of the exorcism from RZT definitely not great. So, at the end of the day, they're still gonna get the tower because they kind of wasted that resource.
Yeah, the pushing strength behind Mad King's not as strong this time around. They're also losing their players a little bit too much as well. Arson's farm and Jackie's is also falling further and further behind. Though Adrian is still at the top of the board, going for the BKB next after his Maelstrom. It's not too shabby, though, you know, even with the BKB, you definitely do have to be careful for CK with his illusions standing around you.
I feel like this is definitely a match where the Weaver gets out carried by the CK though. Like if the CK gets as big as the Weaver, you're not gonna have enough DPS to burst for the illusions. They do have this Wyvern, so it's kind of a wild card, but so far the performance from RM not as flashy or impactful as I thought it was gonna be. The fact he's playing against a Lash and Viper also doesn't really help the hero to look that good.
Well, it's also pretty tough without a blink. Sonic Wave gets thrown onto Yodomi, who dies. Pablo going for the TP will quickly get taken down. Chikala chased by the bugs, but there's the split earth. And Adrian, time lapse comes out. There's going to be a curse thrown out.
Uh-oh.
Adrian toss back. And Zexa is there again. Adrian trying to run away. Shikuchi all the way to safety, possibly. Gets the TP out just in the nick of time. A very scary fight where almost Zexa managed to make another play happen where he still does not have the blink dagger just yet.
And this guy's crazy. Imagine what he'll do once this blink is up, which is pretty much right now. This wave will give him that. So there's probably a smoke timing for them. They also finished the use on the left track, so they have tons of ways to force place. I guess one downside is, unlike Mackings in game 1, G-Pride's Roche isn't great. It's like not bad, but I don't think they can get like one pickoff and rush Roche as Mackings did game 1. That was definitely a part of why they were able to snowball that game as fast as they did. But there you go, the smoke we were talking about. Let's see if ZXA can find a juicy core kill.
I was going for the blink dagger next. Actually, one of the things that I sometimes really hate is Lishraks that are mid Lishraks that go for the shard very late in the game, where you're looking at a 14-minute game and they still don't have shard. That right there,
yeah, I love that.
It's one of the most infuriating things. 'Cause that shard's so good, so good.
ZXA actually gets the Earth Spirit.
Pablo in trouble. The silence gets thrown out onto Chikala, but can he stay alive? Yodomi there with the save. But they will probably still both lose their life regardless. Arsent healing up the damage that he is acquiring, and they will find a 2-for-1 trade. Did force out a buyback. Actually, speaking of that buyback, he's going to catch Zexa in the trees. The tiny roll chase. Can he get the blink out? Nice
Blink
avalanche. Oh, he mini-map clicked 100%. That was a mistake. That was 100% a mini-map click right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a desperate smoke. I don't see why forcing a fight in the tier 2 like that would benefit them. Like, there was glyph on Mackings anyway. It's not like that was a free tier 2 tower. So, not a big fan of the way they executed, but they find tower well.
In trouble, though. There's the Sonic Wave coming out, and Tao is dead. They're looking for now immediately. Adrian did already use his time lapse, so does have to be a little bit careful. Gonna get dragged back, but they will still take down both the cores. And now Adrian tries to get away, but the Golden Race gonna keep them alive. That is not gonna be the case. Exa tries to get a good catch. Winter Skurs, Arsent with the TP down, but Yodomi with the disruption denies the TP, and Arsent will falter. Pablo in the trees, very close to being caught, but will be able to roll back to safety and should not be able to get caught in the process.
What have we here?
Kind of crazy how they're still, like, I think it's been 10 minutes since we saw the exorcism in the tier 1 top tower where G-Pride's offlane. And they still didn't get it. They're forcing these fights in that tower, going a little bit too deep. But, yeah, let's see if this smoke will connect. They do have a pretty good ward, but it's only RM. So, ideally, they would like someone else. That's what they'll get, though.
Oh, Jackie TP's in as well. Okay, a bit risky for my blood, but I like it. Right now, like, I was watching the VP game recently, the grand finals of another tournament, and they had a solid 15 minutes in one of their games that no one died. Like 15 minutes of literally no one dying. And then we have this. We had 43 kills in 20 minutes.
Alright, so it looks like Roche might be the one dying really quickly here, but they kind of know this is happening. I don't think Mackings have the resources. I want to point out that, you know, I was kind of doubting Chikala. He really came through big time this game. He is like the second highest farm core, level 16, has BKB ready. definitely, like, even though he didn't like kill the Weaver that much or won the lane as hard, it's still like really good performance. Kinda hard to see Vipers looking this good in the mid game. Usually feels like the hero underperforms a little bit.
Yeah, normally you see like Vipers get 3-shot at this stage. But that's of course the downside of like going for a Weaver with a Maelstrom. If he had maybe a Deso, he'd be able to chunk him down very quickly. But Maelstrom not really as solid to try and burst down Viper, considering he's got that corrosive skin.
They do trade the tier 2 for tier 1 mid. Which is pretty decent. They're definitely not making the mistake that Dktruman did, trying to defend that tier 2 tower. You know, you understand that the enemy team has the advantage, so it's just better to look for more resources away from where they are. And I think they're doing a pretty good job at that. BKB ready for Adrian. So once that Aegis is out, that's probably when Mad Kings will look for an aggressive play, or if they split their resources a little bit too much. But Dktruman, nope, they want to smoke.
Force out the BKB. There's a curse available though, and Arm, he wants it, but the problem is he does have an Aether Lens at the very least. Bring around the Rosie, gets the TP to safety. But yeah, Aether Lens is great, but you kind of need a Blink Dagger as well to be able to set up a good curse.
Yeah, and that's how Wyvern 5. The net worth doesn't come as easy, especially when you're losing. Even though the gold advantage isn't even that big. Oh, DP.
DP. The problem is he got Demonic Purge. Now it has finally ended. He's charging forward with the Exorcism. Adrian as well, going for Zexa. But there are no more main cores here for the fight. They are in a completely different part of the map. Chikala's going to be another one taken down. Double kill secured for Adrian. All in the meantime, towards mid, they even pop the Aegis on now. Gets the Blink Dagger away. They will get Tau out of harm's way as well. Jackie has no control, unfortunately. There is a Weaver heading that direction to try and annoy now. And while the Weaver is right on his heels, the Bug's coming in. Can they kill off now?
This Mad Kings team is so good. Like, as I talked about splitting resources, as soon as they tried to go for that mid tier 2 tower while they had heroes bottom, they actually not only kill 2 heroes bottom, but they take the Aegis and the CK. I mean, sure, they lost a tier 2 tower, but this game is all about momentum. And they also had lost a tier 2 already, so it's not like they would care that much about it anyways. You know, sure, Dktruman is looking better, but I still kind of had the feeling Mad Kings is gonna take this. I feel like their macro movements and their decision making is a little bit better, even though their draft is not as solid as game 1.
Domi denying double damage. I kind of do agree with you. Also, Viper's gonna fall off. Like, Chikala had a great game. He's done pretty much everything he could.
Yeah.
But it's still a Viper, and for pound, I'd rather have a DP offlane in the late game than I'd have a Viper, because at one point, I mean, the shard's pretty nice, but what do you realistically do? He hit the DP with his Viper strike during that fight. Like, it did nothing. It didn't even slow him down. DP just kept on charging.
True. I do have one tip for your, you said pound for pound, but you could have said peso for peso, which is the Peruvian currency. So that would have been, you know, that was a 9 out of 10, but that could be a 10 out of 10.
Okay, though pounds could also be in weight, but yes.
Peru, very true. Okay, nice save.
Even though we don't use pounds here. We use kilos. But actually, no, we do use pounds. We actually use, for meat, we do still use, well, we use pond is what we call it, but it's pretty much pound. Dutch.
Okay.
I don't know why we still use that, considering we use kilos for everything else and just normal, but eh.
In my engineering classes, we would use pounds just because the teachers would be like, oh, some parts of the world use this, so you have to know how to convert to weird currencies.
And use a calculator for that.
Exactly. We literally had a class for conversion. It was the dumbest thing ever.
That's so sad.
Pablo, though. will...
Very dead. Adrian, can they take him down? He does have a Lincoln's and a BKB. Time lapse, he's just going to disengage. And the rest of the team falls back as well. Did at the very least force every TP imaginable from G-Pride towards that bottom lane.
This is not bad, actually. They'll get a lot of time to farm. They know that some key spells were used on G-Pride. The smoke that they used is kind of a Hail Mary smoke on G-Pride. They're not going to connect to anyone. Kind of even, honestly. I mean, sure, the Viper falls off, but the thing that worries me the most for Mad Kings is actually the CK. I feel like he's kind of the strongest hero in the map, even if the Viper is gonna fall off. I think they kind of have to itemize for the CK to not look as good. Shiva's is pretty good for the club.
Weaver's going for the Gleipnir, so that completely destroys the CK illusions at that point.
That's a good one. The Shivas for the damage, but also the lifesteal reduction gonna be really good. And what is the DP going for? Just a Kaya. Just want to be tanky with the Kaya Sanj.
Yeah, Pablo, he's got the Ghost Scepters, going for the Yules, wants to survive as much as possible. Wyvern's getting very close to the Blink Dagger, which is a pretty big one. Pablo, he takes a bunch of auto attacks, but slash care, it's a Viper.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They're all roaming around trying to keep an eye on Roche, but it's not a minute until it possibly could respawn. Adrian just in the meantime gets a random proc onto Udomi, blowing him up.
Lincolns, I really like this Lincolns. That's the reason he was dying. The setup of the Shadow Demon to the follow-up stuns. Oh, Pablo just going crazy over there. Not sure about that, but...
Oh, Curse comes in, and that puts Shikala in a very rough spot. Lincoln's gets popped. Adrian pops the BKBs, going in. Sonic Wave, Shikala's dead. Sex in the trees. Will be, of course, spotted out by the bugs. Speaking of the bugs, Adrian's going to go for that kill. Can he get it secured? Should be able to be finished in the meantime. They will find now on the other angle. Because Arzent and Jackie will be able to overwhelm him. And right now, Mad Kings to take the tier 1 plus most likely the tier 2 tower top. And they are on a wear and tear. And it might just be the case that Mad Kings 2-0's G-Pride. That would be an upset on the very first day.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way Pablo played there. Sure, it looks crazy. Sure, he dies, but they knew Shadow Demon was dead. So he just gives vision to everyone. And because he's such a mobile hero, he can actually buy back and still be useful. So just great plays from Mad Kings all around. This time they had a rougher start, kind of a, I don't want to say worst draft, but I think G-Pride definitely kind of picked apart a couple of the heroes they really like playing, like the Tiny and the Shrek. So things didn't really run as smooth. They had to adapt with the Weaver, they had to adapt with the Wyvern, but they're still making it work. You know, maybe we're calling this an upset right now. I just love the way these guys are playing. It gives me these like OG vibes, you know, we just play what we like, we just play what we want. And, you know, if you have the guts to do that, it works. Sab is the proof.
Yeah, you can even make Wind Ranger mid position 5 work. Please don't pick that in my pubs anymore. It's horrible. Like, he can do it, you can't.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was actually watching Dubu stream recently, and he was like, just play like Seb, lol. That was the name of his stream. And he just lost a bunch with Wind Ranger. It was glorious. He won a couple of games, but yeah, like, even really good position 5s will struggle. Because, you know, Seb is a level 30 Wind Ranger player. He's pretty good at that. Oh, now, going very deep here.
Okay, going in. Arzen charging forward. Pablo is going to die back, which is a problem. Sonic Wave gets thrown out by the Quap from behind. Does have, of course, that shard for the silence. Now's BKB halfway duration done. And now he's actually just dying in his BKB. Curse gets thrown out, holds Shikala in place. Oh, and the turnaround comes out. The exorcism from Arzent with the silence on everything and everyone. Oh no, the destruction. Mad Kings playing it perfectly, taking Roshan. That's a free shard to be secured, and yeah, I don't think G-Pride have a chance to get themselves back in the game. That CK just stands there doing nothing.
Yeah, the Gleipnir was a really good pickup, as you pointed out. But also the way Mad Kings is playing, I think that really is what kind of won game 1 and also won game 2. When they actually got Aegis on G-Pride, they just flipped them apart. They never tried to defend the tier 2 tower. They're just looking really good. The draft from G-Pride was really good, but still, this Weaver ended up working against the CK. I didn't expect it to look this good this early, but I think the CK also played a little bit crazy, right? He was the one initiating instead of ZXCA. I don't think he should be like jumping like that, but they also didn't have any smokes because of the way they used some of their smokes early on. But they just felt forced, I guess. But you know, with Roche about to spawn, not the greatest idea.
And now they're 12k ahead on the Mad Kings. It was close for so freaking long, this game. Just back and forth and back and forth. Like 1k net worth advantage, half a k net worth advantage. And right now, looking very much in advantage for Mad King. Sonic Wave now is dead again. That how many? He's died 8 times this game. 8.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, definitely not his greatest series. I feel like he's usually a pretty solid carry, you know, at least for Division 2 standards. I would say he's like in the upper echelon of those carries. But this time, definitely struggling.
Going in pretty deep, Pablo and the gang, Avalanche Sauce, but Sexa, your team is pretty much just being destroyed. Sexa does buy back, though it does look like your top set of racks are going to be secured. TP into the trees by Tau, going in for the Quap, has a Scythe of Ice. Can he get the kill? Yes, they will get the combo going, but the curse holds Tau in place and is going to cost him all of his mana. In the meantime, however, Adrian pops the BKB. He's looking for blood. He's looking for everything. Can he get the kill onto Tau? The minus armor comes into play, and he just gets bursted down. Adrian time-lapse back in action. Chikala's the last one standing. Now is back alive. The problem is his entire team is currently dead, and, well, he's trying, but can he get it done? The bugs are nasty, and so is Adrian. Now, BKB, he just needs to run away. There's nothing that they can do.
Oh.
And he even dies afterwards. Oh, the armlet toggle with a ghost behind him is not the smartest move, my friend.
Yeah, he went back. He was too greedy. Could have waited a little bit in the fountain. But, I mean, kind of crazy, because in these 2 games, I really felt like G-Pride was doing really well in the early game, especially because of the XCA. But it felt like he played worse once he had the blink instead of when he didn't have it. They forced that fight in the tier 2 tower. I really felt like that kind of stopped their momentum a little bit. So a little bit unfortunate. They tried to force their hand a little bit more than maybe they should have. And now this Weaver looks like an actual carry. That Daedalus, you know, once you're
The shard. Oh.
12,000 gold ahead of a CK, sure you can deal with the CK. Even a Crystal Maiden can probably deal with the CK if she's that far ahead.
Yeah, that is a lot of burst damage. Adobe will be taken down. Time lapse. He still has the Aegis available on the Weaver. He's going to go for Chikala. RM is looking for a good curse target now. Can't catch Adrian because no invis detection in the area. Roll away is Pablo. The curse gets thrown out just to try and run away, but RM will still die. Tau is going in for the back line. There is also now here in the area, but he summoned all of his illusions and they're just going to bail out on the side of Mad Kings. They don't want to fight into the illusions.
Really nicely played. There's also Aegis on that Weaver, so I think it's smart for G-Pride to not overcommit. Still 40 seconds for it to expire. I mean, I don't know how you come back. Like, what is the actual... Like, you need a toss into a lasso, but there's no Batrider. It got banned this game. So how... I really don't know what...
You know, you're busy defending that high ground. You know what's a really good item?
What?
The less shard. Guess what he doesn't have? The less shard.
You were actually very correct. I would say there's definitely room for a shard. He has a freaking side of eyes, so definitely has the gold.
How does that even work?
You could not be more right, actually. It's really freaking good, especially for short-range heroes like the Weaver. Once you go high ground, no Dragonlance on that Weaver, no extra cast attack range at all.
Yep, but I guess, you know, shards are for suckers. And now he's in a bit of trouble. Does get his Phantasm going. Loses half his HP in half a second. But there's the chase in. Sonic Wave pushes him back. And they will be able to quickly get rid of now. 70 seconds. Does not have a buyback available. They're going to go for Chikala next. The Curse was an interesting choice, considering no one was next to him, but they will at the very least just clean it up one after the other. Tao is going to jump in aggressively. He does still have his scythe that he can use, but he's trying to stay alive for as much as he can. Can he get the kill onto Adrian? He's very close. The kickback, though, reduces the damage Adrian takes, and that is going to be a pretty big play coming through. G to the G. There we have it. And Mad Kings, with 2 games where their drafts are just pretty much exactly how they want to play, and they play it perfectly. They get the job done. Pretty sad for Zexa after playing like 2 super good early game performances on the position 4 of Gorillaz-Pride. It just was not enough to turn it in their favor in the end. And big props, because this Mad Kings team is looking pretty good.
I love it, dude. Like, straight up from open qualifiers, the open qualifiers was pretty stacked. There were some big names that didn't make it, and it feels like it was definitely in all luck, or brackets, or whatever it is you want to call it. These guys, I would say G-Pride is in the upper echelon of the teams in Division 2, so the fact that they got taken out as easily as they did, like, look at the names here. You have Iadomi. This guy played for a lot of the biggest names in Division 1. Now in Tao, these guys have been known for a long time. ZXCA played really well. It's not like he is not performing. I really felt like he had a good game, a good 2 games. And still, they got, I would say, easily handed by Mad Kings. So very excited to see what these guys are going to bring up. They are very inventive. They are full of overall pretty new names, new blood. This was fun, dude. Even though it was a 2-0, I had a lot of fun. Hope you had as well.
Oh yeah, definitely had a lot of fun. I like the surprises, of course. Mad Kings looking good. I'm put them on the top of my list right now to keep my eyes on, because solid performance. Chikala in that game did do most of the damage of his team on a Viper, which is actually not that bad considering you have a Lesh on your side. And now, yeah, he did the least damage of his team. That was
more
not
like
his best game.
Not a lot of performance, not a lot of impact. Unfortunate, because I really feel like he's a pretty good carry player. And his lane was... the problem is that he died a lot, right? He fed first blood both games. And I think he also died a second time in lane afterwards to a lane that isn't like super strong, right? Earth Spirit definitely not up there in terms of like kill potential. Death Prophet, maybe with some kickbacks from the Air Spirit. That's how they were able to pick it up. Still, very impressed with Mad Kings. I think these guys, like whoever wants to go to Division 1, they're gonna have to win against Mad Kings because they're looking hot.
Yeah, Mad Kings definitely look very scary at the moment, but of course that does mean that it is already concluded for the evening of the first day of DPC. Of course, the other regions are going to start up in a couple of hours. We're going to be going towards a slightly lengthier break, me specifically, and I think I'm also casting with you actually on Thursday.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So don't forget to check it out. Epulze Gaming is the channel on Twitch. Follow it on Twitter as well. While you're at it, follow D2 Bowie on Twitter and Dktruman TV as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I definitely did. Any last words for the viewers at home, Bowie?
Yeah, Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to follow Epulze, as Dktruman said. Also follow Dktruman on Twitter, because he is a very nice lad. And yeah, see you guys on Thursday, right?
Yep, Thursday.
Okay.
See you guys then, and have a wonderful evening. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.